Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan, and with me today talking Spider-Man Brand New Day is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing great. I just got out of the theater on my second watch. I'm doing fantastic.
And you may remember this guy. I'm not sure, but it's Ron. How are you today, Ron?
I'm doing good. Yeah, anybody who didn't watch our Mando show hasn't seen me back. But what a hell of a damn week it's been. Perfect time to come back and chat with you guys about some Spider-Man. It's great to be back, and the lads are buzzing this week, so things are good.
Yes, things are good. So I mean, things are so good that we broke a 7-year record that Endgame held here for the best opening weekend, which was 357. So this one broke it by 3 million, and it was at 360 is how much this made an opening weekend for a solo superhero movie. Pretty big deal, which is
Not too
pretty
shabby.
insane.
Yeah,
It's
not too
crossing $1
shabby.
billion today
Mhm.
worldwide. So that's
It's nuts, man.
you contributed to that today. You got it over the line.
Glad to
And
do
now
my
we got
part.
IMAX screens. We got IMAX
Yeah.
screens opening up now.
Mhm.
It's only going to keep going.
Yeah, and there's like no real competition really
yeah.
until like September. So I mean, this thing will sustain itself. And it did that record breaking. It did that record breaking. Yeah. It did that record breaking while also having the Odyssey still making like 50 million on its third weekend. So I thought if there was anything that would have prevented it from getting it, it would have been screen limitations due to the Odyssey still doing well. But it did it. It got over the line. I knew it was going to break it once it fell 2 million short of in the projections, because the actuals are usually $2 to $7 million more. And I was like, oh, it's locked in. It's going to break this record.
Yeah.
But
the word of mouth was too crazy about it. Like I haven't seen a social media swell like this for a movie in a very long time, maybe even ever. Like, I wasn't really too big on like the superhero Twitter like when Endgame was around, and even really when No Way Home was coming out. But this was just everybody was talking about this movie.
I do think it is interesting because I like, it was already doing well sales wise in the build up to where this was like possible. And I think just the good reviews helped push it over the line. But like, even if this thing had like a 50% Rotten Tomato, like some of those tickets were sold. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have still had a big opening weekend regardless. Just
it was
because
impossible finding a seat.
Yeah.
Those first few days with the walk up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like the buildup of like this, from Homecoming to now, which was feeding in through the like having Iron Man boost Spider-Man a little bit there. Not that he needed a boost like popularity wise, but more of like, hey, this is our third iteration of a franchise of Spider-Man already. Like, give it a shot. Here's Iron Man. And then then you got the post Endgame bump, and then you got the 3 Spider-Man bump, and then now it's just on its own level where people, this is Tom Holland's 10th year and like 7th film or something. So I mean, he is like the definitive Spider-Man for a lot of people. Like my nephews are going to see it this week, and I took my nephew to see Civil War the day Civil War came out 10 years ago, and that's been his Spider-Man for like his whole life. So just very good happy for the crew, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton here, who got is getting all the flowers he deserves.
Round of applause.
Chris McKenna and Eric Summers wrote their 4th Spider-Man movie here. And then, of course, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, John Bernthal, Florence Pugh, Tremel Tillman from Severance. I want to shout him out. Mark Ruffalo, Marissa Tomei, Jacob Batalon. Yeah. So I guess we'll just kind of dive in with our just general thoughts. And Ron, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, just like what a beautiful, beautiful movie. Instantly was catapulted into like the top of my comic book movie list. Um, I don't normally like to throw them in there that quick. I'm like you a little bit, George, where I kind of like to let things breathe a little bit. But just last year with Superman and this, it just sometimes you just know, you walk out of the theater the first time and you just kind of know. Anybody who's listened to us on this show knows how big of a Jean Grey fan I am. Spider-Man's not too far behind. So just at from like a personal level, that it's like holy crap, like was this movie made for me? But just
It was.
even taking yeah, right, yeah,
It was
but
totally.
even just like taking all of that like personal tie that I have to the movie, it was just such a adult, mature Spider-Man movie, something that we haven't really seen since Spider-Man 2, I would say, way back when. Because even the third one of that trilogy got pretty goofy. That was where Bully Maguire was born and all that stuff. And it didn't quite hit yeah, but it didn't quite hit uh because of that, it didn't quite hit as hard with the emotional beats at times for me. And I'm like a lot of people, it's not really their favorite. But this one just the themes were so heavy in terms of just like life ain't a fairy tale all the time. You're not always going to get that ending that you want so badly, but it's okay because the horrors persist, but so do we, right? That's kind of like the main message that I took away from this movie. That and just the Tom Holland has spoken about the mental health aspect of it and not being alone and not being afraid to reach out for help. Just like very, very mature themes. And like Jordan, to your point, for kids who grew up with this Spider-Man, who might have been, 12, 14 the first time they saw him in Homecoming, who are now like young adults dealing with this stuff. It even hit for us as a little older, guys in our early to mid 30s. It just, I tweeted that it was like the most universally relatable like Spider-Man movie that I can remember. We love the high school quippiness, kind of all that stuff, but it's a little tougher to like really put yourself in those shoes when you've been out of that, for so long. But this was just something that everybody could latch onto and relate to in some sort of way. And when you pair that with everything, it was a visual feast for the eyes. I mean, I've seen it twice. I got another ticket to go Thursday and hopefully maybe another 2 or 3 times after that. So, amazing, 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 amazing. That's basically what I have to say.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
yeah. Chris, you want to go? You just got out of the theater your second time. So give us that.
Yeah, I still have the glow of the brand new day's sun rising upon me. It's just incredible. This was the best written Spider-Man movie there ever has been. The writing in this film was better than pretty much everything. Like, we talk about No Way Home sometimes working because of nostalgia, and it was a really good film, and I think it works. And they had a lot of moving parts. But when you talk about Brand New Day, you're talking about the best story, the best. Ron, what he said about the universal relatability, it hits you in all the spots. It never. What I loved about this film was it never pounded you with it. It just steadily built it, and it like carried it along, and it threaded it together, or I guess you could say webbed it together. I thought there wasn't a single part of this film that took away from any part of the film. Like, I heard that some people would say, "Oh, it's too jam packed," and the Jean Grey thing and the Hulk, it all worked together pretty perfectly. I thought the message of the film and Tom Holland's performance was unbelievable. I thought Zendaya's performance in this was on another level. Um, because it was just so realistic. It wasn't like they didn't go for the quick fix. They went for the realistic, hey, there's something there, but hey, I don't even know you. That was really like really good. That scene where Jean Grey is controlling her and they kiss, and he's so It's like he has it, and then it gets ripped from him. And I don't think there's a person on this planet that can watch that scene and not feel what Peter's feeling, like just ripped out of, like, oh my goodness. It's that part. That scene is almost a horror scene. It's so good. And then
It's like, it's funny too, because you almost realize it along with him. It's like, oh great, yes. Oh wait, no, this feels too convenient. Oh fuck. Oh, you know.
The second his arms go from this desperate grasp to this unraveling, you're unraveling it at the same time. Like it's really well done. I think they did Jean Grey perfectly. In fact, I don't think I've ever cared about Jean Grey more in a film, and that's kind of a problem for the X-Men films looking back at it. But dude, Sadie Sink was incredible. Sadie Sink was incredible. The whole damage control thing was incredible. This idea that they have a wing of their whole office just ready for you anytime you step out of line. I thought people are monsters, and then go ahead, get in my mind, and then all of a sudden, it all comes down to May. And beautiful movie, beautiful film, best written film I think I have ever seen in the superhero genre. It gives me the same exact feels as Superman. It's up there. I hate this because I want to say it's a top 5, top maybe 2 or 3, and I'm just like you, Ron. I'm like, that makes me sound like that casual fan who just goes to the movies like, that was the best thing I ever saw. Guys, that might be the best thing I've ever seen. It's up there with Superman.
Yeah.
In fact, I I think there's a couple of moments that I don't think are beatable for me. For me, it's like Superman fighting the engineer in the baseball field, and like coming down and Crypto get the toy like that. Those moments are like, and there's like 3 to 5 moments in Spider-Man Brand New Day that are right on that level. The Hulk scene where it's like, I didn't know you could go that big. Like, this is the Hulk. I love the Punisher in this film. The Punisher in this film is like, this is below your pay grade. My favorite scene in the entire film, just because of just like the realisticness of it, is Punisher trying to talk himself out of fighting the Hulk. That was hilarious. Are you just trying to not get in a fight with the Hulk? Yeah, sure. Yeah, like, it was so well done. I don't know if it was my favorite. It's just so well done. When he realized the Sarah lie, and like the way he figured that out, and like the light bulb moment, and it was like, Spider-Man did the right thing. There's nothing about this film I don't like, so I'll leave it at that. I just thought it was perfect. I can't think of a thing I would change. The only thing I might change about this film, if I like, or add, not take away, is how the heck is Peter getting money? That's the only thing I wanted, like, a little bit of an answer to. Like, does he have like a day job that we just don't see much because it's not that important to the film, or, other than that, I'm pretty damn pleased with this film, and that is such a minor gripe that I don't even register it.
Well, I'll speak to that real quick. I don't think the money thing is a big issue for me because he probably got some. Well, this is where it's tough, right? He did lose his Aunt May, who could have left him as a like beneficiary for her plans. Yeah. But I mean, like, Peter Parker doesn't really exist. It's more like people forgot about him, right? So I mean, that might be tough for him to claim.
So his bank accounts might still exist, but.
Yeah, but with that too, like, the guy in that the guy in the apartment building says that with the asbestos, he was just using it for storage. So I'm sure that it's a very steep discount on that attic space that he's staying in. But he could be also just doing, I think, it was more like freelance stuff on the side too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? True. Like, maybe with some of that tech stuff he has, he's making some freelance stuff he's able to sell on like Etsy or Fiverr or something. I don't know, whatever he's doing. But yeah, so I think because most of the time he's just kind of putting himself, just headlong into Spider-Man. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I don't think I'm as high on it as you two are so far. This is how I ended up with Superman as well last year, and then that movie has continued to, like, creep up my list of into the top 10. And possibly into the top 5 or 3 Superman. So I think this is something I'm going to have to kind of sit with time. I made that new rule, is what Ron was alluding to there, where I have like a 6-month rule where a movie has to be out for 6 months. It was originally a year, but Superman made me change that to 6 months because I had watched it like 6 times, and I watched it so many more times once it came on DVD that I had to amend that rule. So we'll see how this one goes with that. But some of my favorite things with this is just the blending of the Insomniac Spider-Man stuff, because that is my favorite interpretation of the character. So some of those, like, when they're fighting the damage control people, that almost have like, kind of reminds me of Silver Sable's team in the game, where they have like the stun guns and stuff like that were like the web guns that they had, right, that were able to dissipate his spider webs. So that felt
The
very
Sable
video
guards?
game. Yeah, it felt very Sable Guards, felt very video gamey. And then just some of the way that Destin Daniel Cretton moves the camera in these fights, where in that fight with the hand, he like goes onto the ceiling and then the camera rotates so Spider-Man is like back to being upright for us, so it's just like doing that. He did some cool movements when the Hulk is chasing him down the hallway before he does like the Hulk clap, so there was just some really cool movements that made it feel like more lively, I would say, than we've had in recent times. You know what though? It kind of reminds me of, because people shit on John Watts and stuff, but like there was his fight with Goblin in the hotel, like in that apartment building in No Way Home, kind of had the same thing where like they're moving the camera a bit more. They're, he's doing stuff interesting ways in the hallway and stuff, and this kind of felt like it elevated from that. So like it kind of feels like a continuation of elevating the Spider-Man choreography. So and that was something we kind of thought when Destin Daniel Cretton was hired as a director, like, okay, we're gonna have really good choreography.
Yeah, even like the little things, like I mentioned to you, or I mentioned to both of us when we were in chat yesterday, like the little things, like the swinging felt more realistic, like the camera shaking and the movements and Peter straining himself. Like sometimes the swinging can feel a little too smooth, almost like it's not like almost like too CGI, but this, like, you felt it. And that shot when you get inside the mask, just like inside his eye, like, oh my God, everything about it was so great. And the even the little things like the color saturation, I feel, is perfect, like tuned to just the perfect level to make the suits pop and everything. It was very, very good visually.
Speaking to that, the scene where MJ basically just told him, hey, I know I just broke your heart and whatnot, but can you take me home? And like, he's like, you can see, like, in the mask, you can't see his face, but you can just feel his dejection as he's swinging. Like, it feels like this, I have to get through this moment. And I thought that was really well done, because I mean, that could have easily been a detail they didn't even do.
You talked about it earlier with the MJ being kind of inhabited by Jean. That was something I was unfortunately spoiled about, like the day before I saw the movie.
Oh,
so I, in the theater, I'm like, oh, here's that part, I guess. So that didn't hit me as much as it should have, but still a good scene. Okay, so one thing I also want to just kind of highlight too is how much of a continuation this movie is from No Way Home is something I really enjoyed too, because that was going to be the question, right? Like, okay, I remember the controversy when this movie was announced, and they're like, Zendaya's back, and Jacob's back, and you're like, people are like, this is way too soon. There's a blah blah blah,
Yeah.
Maybe way too soon in the sense of it's the next movie, but they made it work with it being 4 years after No Way Home, you know?
Yep.
So you have this, and I speculated on this on one of the, I guess, trailer reactions I did or something I did here. Maybe it was when I had the episode with my friend Casey talking about the trailer, but my theory was, and it turned out to be true, that, you know, we were going to get a montage of 4 years because of the fact that the MJ clip is like, oh, first day at MIT. And I'm like, all right, I think we're going to kind of breeze through the college stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And they did, you know, they kind of go through that college well, but the characters, I don't know if I would have wanted like a whole movie without MJ and Ned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think being able to feel that and him having that hole of them missing, like, help drive a very interesting story in the plot here. I think some people wanted him to just kind of shed those characters and be like, here's Gwen Stacy, here's Harry Osborn. And I'm like, it's cool if we get those introduced, but I don't also just want like him to move on completely. Like, these are people he grew up with that he knew so intimately that you can't just turn that off. Like, you're still he's gonna check in on them, you know?
And you do have to bring them back eventually. So
Yeah.
then when you bring them back and you have this whole other cast, it's like now it becomes a little bloated. Now you've got a little bit of too big of a cast. Even if
I think
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I still like that it's also mostly still unresolved romantically and stuff at the end of the film, because it does feel like the sacrifice means something, you know. And Chris, you mentioned the scene, but when he, you know, when she does ask him to go home, but before that, when, you know, we kind of got the flashback that you know, they thankfully put in there to remind people that didn't rewatch it, but he's going to say I love you, and she says wait until you see me again, and he waits until now to say it, and it's just completely denied because the spell worked, right? The feelings are not there. She doesn't know who this is. So it's like it stings a little bit more, you know, and that it means that his sacrifice still means something. At some point, it's going to be undone. I do think that we're kind of teased that here at the end, but I do think that just having at least one movie where you feel the missing, you know, the yearning of having, like, I need friends again, you know, and him saying to Maze, to, you know, Tombstone, that not to be confused with Tombstone the character, but with Maze Tombstone, that you know, I'm not going to do this alone anymore. He's starting to kind of be like, you know what, I am going to have friends again. Like, I can't just he was really just it's that very typical Spider-Man stuff, right? Of I need to punish myself because I don't want them to get hurt, right? So I'm not going to allow myself to have joy. And then what Marvel editorial did was yes, and they've completely ran with that and said he can never be happy again. And some of the fans on Twitter are like, he can never be happy again, right? And I think that just totally misunderstands Peter anyway. But, you know, for this movie, I liked having that, and then we kind of have hope at the end of it that he's kind of coming out of this tunnel and can, you know, start to rebuild relationships he lost.
Yeah. Which is really interesting too, because I don't like where we leave Peter at in this one. He's in a pretty decent spot, you know, still hurting, still missing MJ and stuff, but obviously he may or may not get Ned back at the end, at least to some degree, whether the spell is broken or it's just Ned realizes it's him, like they're homies. So like there's at least that little part of it. Like, how do you do a symbiote story with Tom now? Like, wouldn't it just feel like kind of doing this movie all over again in a way?
You wouldn't be able to do it next.
Yeah,
right?
More importantly, yeah.
Because it would feel like maybe retreading ground, but maybe for a 6 film you could. Because then it's a little different. Then he has everybody maybe back at a certain level, and he's starting to lose them by being a dick instead of like forcing himself to, you know, live this punishment because of Aunt May's death.
It's like
right?
The flip
like
side of it.
It's a little bit different. But no, that's you know, you brought it up. I don't want to go. I guess we can talk about it now before we go too far, and then it's like, oh crap, we didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Did Ned remember? So I'll bring up some points on why I think that possibly he did, but I do think they wrote it in a way where they can go either way they want with this, right? Because she does call him Peter, and Ned hears that. So obviously he now knows I was going to say Spiderman. Spider-Man's, I was mixing the characters. Spider-Man's name is Peter. So he knows that.
Yeah.
But and I'll give this as proof, but then I'll also dispel the proof with another scene. But you know, the handshake is like muscle memory almost, right? And then I feel like the way he delivers the line Peter right before it cuts, it's like he remembers.
Very old Ned, right? Like when he was talking to Peter. Yeah.
But it could be him connecting the dots of like, oh, and then MJ would know him maybe because I knew him once. You know, like maybe he's putting those pieces together or something.
Oh, he saved us and all this stuff.
And I know that because he does this handshake. And how would I have a handshake with somebody I don't know? So it's got to be somebody I forgot for some reason, right? He can't put it all together, but maybe putting some pieces together at that point.
Yeah,
I took it as he remembered because, like, No Way Home, he can open the portals. He has like magic in his family or something. Like, I was like, there's something to the strange connection power set that I'm like, I can buy this. It's enough of a connection for me that it makes it work. Like, I didn't think much of it, and then people are like, did he remember? Did he not remember? I was like, I took it clearly as he did.
Well, I think you could also say that, like, you know, Jean, when she is in that when they're stuck in that force field, that maybe she jarred something loose in him. With the handshake, then really unlocks it, right? Like, boom.
They did give themselves wiggle room.
When she is in MJ's mind, she says there's no thoughts of him in there at all. So, like, maybe that can't be, but maybe it's locked away.
But is that honest?
Right? I mean,
is that just the taunt?
That's true. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. Is that not just her trying to twist the knife a little bit? Yeah, like there's so many things that they intentionally left ambiguous.
Jean is a very angry person. Jean is angry and snarky, and she's messing with Spider-Man the whole movie. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that they definitely, I mean, they may not even know, like you said, Ron, they may not even know the answer right now, but they set it up to where they're like, okay, when we approach Spider-Man 5, we have options on how we can tie this up.
That sounds like a 2028 problem.
Yeah, like, that's a future Eric and Chris problem.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Jean. Should we go into it?
Yeah, now you're the biggest Jean fan I know, but people online were saying you didn't know anything about her because of this take. So let us know.
I threw up one tweet about Tony Stark, and the next thing you know, my replies are a war zone. So there's obviously a big gripe going around on social media about how Jean was presented in this movie, how she might not be so redeemable coming out of this movie. I think it's hogwash, personally. Even just taking my personal own sort of bias out of it, it's ridiculous. We're talking about one person that she allowed to get hit by a car, and she did awful things to Peter. With that whole MJ thing, you can even go into a bit of like, it's like essay adjacent. I don't know. It's kind of a touchy subject, I guess is the best way to put it. But we've seen so many characters in Marvel do awful things when we first met them, and the whole point is the redemption, right? And people are so mad that she didn't get her comeuppance at the end of this movie, and like basically not understanding that these are character arcs. She's going to go through things. I promise you, she's got a lot of trauma coming. She's going to pay for this in kind in upcoming movies. But I think it's really weird that the way people have approached it. There's an obvious reason why I would say people approached it this way. I would say it's because she's a woman. We don't normally like to just go to that in this situation when these things arise, because sometimes it can be a lazy argument for things. But I do think in this particular instance, I think a big reason why people are so bent up about this is because it's, but that's,
well, I'm really curious because because I'm not so sure on that aspect, not to defend anybody, but my thought on this is because there is a woman character in this movie that has done terrible things that
Yelena.
people laugh at her jokes and they love her to death, and it's Yelena. And
but
same
those
thing
are
with
small
Natasha,
potatoes.
right? Like
That is
Natasha
true.
did some terrible things too,
and
right?
Wanda too. We could, so
Tony Stark.
But
But
we're
we're
not talking
trying
about
to make
women
the
because
women.
Yeah,
he was in
fair,
it. But it's like, for some reason, it's when a character, maybe because those people were always assassins in the comics and stuff, except not Wanda, but the other ones. And Wanda has done like the no more mutants in the comics, so she has that history. And maybe it's just that they can't. The way I deal with it is I think it's people can't handle adaptations anymore. They just can't.
Yeah.
People are still complaining that there's no that there's no Daily Bugle, or that there's no other aspects of Peter's character that are not present in this movie. They can't understand that it's just, this is the version of Peter we have for the MCU. Right?
Yeah.
And guess what? Sony has to make these movies every couple years, every 5 years, or else they lose the rights, which means I'm probably going to see another 3 Spider-Man actors in my lifetime, which means we'll have plenty of different takes and different opportunities to see that stuff. It's just, it's the same thing with the Superman movie, right? Recently, where there's a certain set of people that are like, that's not my Superman because of this. He saved a squirrel. They're almost on the other side of it, Ron, where they're like, he can't save squirrels.
Too nice. Yeah.
But it's like, maybe it's because they just see Jean as such a hero outside of the Phoenix stuff, where they can't fathom this different take that puts her through the same stuff Peter is going through in this movie and through his MCU history, right? Where they have that heart to heart at the end, because they kind of gone through very similar stuff of losing somebody, almost punishing themselves for this, and all that. Plus, I don't think she killed anybody, so I'm not really worried about it at all.
Apparently, we saw the video. That
credits.
stunt guy was fine. He was fine.
Look, I think the funniest thing about this whole conversation is that when you watch the movie, the story makes sense. It would be one thing if the story didn't make sense. I feel like if your sister got ripped away and then you had a moment where you saw the last thing that she tried to get telepathically communicate to you, you saw the VMAX thing. I don't think there's a single human on Earth who would not have had that with that power set. I don't think there's a single person on Earth who would have not had a similar reaction, if not worse. I think when the problem is when you have powers like in these worlds, you're always judged on your worst day. The Hulk is judged all of a sudden for freaking out after being a brilliant scientist who figured out how to even bring himself back to the real world anyway. But you're always judged on your worst day. And the idea that you're judging Jean on her worst day is just ridiculous. She's not a hero. She's definitely, at the moment, an anti-hero. She's definitely the antagonist of this film. But to call her a villain, to me, is a little bit of a stretch.
Well, they do present her as the villain in this movie, right? So it's like, but it's a black and white thing, which is something people are, or it's not. I should say it's not a black and white thing.
It's
Jean Grey.
That's
her name.
Damn it,
Grey.
Yeah. But it's something people. It's something people are going to have to get used to with the X-Men coming. There's lots of the first name they announced besides Sadie Sink for this movie is a pretty damn good example of that.
Yeah.
Like, not all of these mutants, Mystique, like Magneto, like. These are characters that are going to do some pretty awful shit, and you're still gonna they're still gonna present them as sympathetic characters. Like,
Loki led an invasion of New York and killed people, and we love him, right? Like, I mean, what are we doing?
Absolutely.
Thousands dead.
Dead, yes.
It's been a while since we've gotten like proper X-Men movies in the theaters. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Like, even First Class, dude, like that was quietly 15 years ago. Like, there's a whole new generation, and 15 years ago was the first one, but like, you get what I'm saying. There's a whole generation of like, have never seen an X-Men movie in theaters, like kind of crew that I bet haven't even gone back and watched the Fox ones, right? Just because they have such a bad reputation, who are gonna be in for quite an interesting awakening once the X-Men movie actually comes to town. It's going to be a good time, I think.
Yeah, and look, we got at least 2 members of the X-Men sorted for the movie. We got Jean Grey, and like you said, Emma Frost was cast. So we've got at least 2 that we know for sure are going to be in that movie, which is most likely the May 2028 movie, since they're casting, right? Like, I mean, at this point, maybe some of them are going to show up at the end of Secret Wars if they're cast now, because Secret Wars starts filming very soon. And then I would assume X-Men starts filming in the fall or early spring, and then comes out May 2028. But yeah, so I know that was something you were hesitant about going in, was Jean Grey's portrayal and stuff. And then I was kind of waiting for the message when you came out of the theater, like, man, they've effed her up, dude.
Third time, fucking strike 3. Yeah.
But I knew it was good news when you came out saying that she was good. So,
well, I can't imagine the acting performance being better.
Not that. No, I was thinking more of the
way that they presented.
No, I know. I just think that so much of how she was presented was how she carried out the acting. I thought it was really well done.
I feel I feel awful for how long it took me to realize what the VMAX thing stood for. Like, when that's going on, I'm like, can she like jump through the air vent and get out of there? Like, is that what her sister was trying to tell her?
Dude, it took me the second viewing. The first viewing, I didn't see like the vents.
You didn't see that at all in the first viewing?
Like, I saw VMAX, but like, it didn't register to me. Right.
You just see like Peter's eye looking through the vent, looking down.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I was like, I was thinking, like, is that like a hole in the facility where she can project out of there and go out? You know what I'm saying? And that was like her sister telling her, like, I've been in here. This is your way out.
Yeah.
But then they explain it, obviously, and I'm like, oh no, like, I totally misread that. I was like trying to figure it out in this theater, like, what is that, like the way out? Like, come on, just like shoot up there, with your mind powers.
With your mind powers, yeah.
With your mind powers.
Something I did get spoiled on months ago was that VMAX was a thing. And I just remember people speculating, like, what could this be? Is it something with the X-Men? And like, I'm so glad that part didn't leak, that I know of anyway.
Yes,
that it was it does hit so very well.
The thing I got spoiled on was her sister got kidnapped. That was
Did you know this? I read that the older sister was played
16.
by a 16-year-old actress, and Sadie's 24.
Yeah,
it's insane when you think about it.
But
it's insane when you think about it. But that scene is really hard to watch. It's sad because it's such a beautiful scene. Like, it's also kind of messed up because they're just like picking people's brains to like jump into, but like it's kind of beautiful. And then you see one of the things that I think was great about the scene, you see Sadie looking at the kid who's got like their parent like giving them love, and she's like longingly like, that's really who I want to be, that kid.
She's got mommy issues.
Oh, definitely. But
so okay, how does this machine work, Ron? Do you know what, like, they just kind of cranked her up and they're like having her jump into this like force field, and then it would just push back on her?
Yeah, it was essentially like firing a gun in the air, right? They were trying to get her to as many times as they could like snapshot and replicate the brainwave patterns that were happening when she would do this, so that they can reproduce them on somebody else. So it was basically just like, trial, just like doing it as many times as they could to get it perfect.
And then just made her stronger at the end of the day.
It's basically a superpower MRI,
Clarkson, right?
Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's true. What if that was the needle drop here? Would people have been upset about that?
Still a better needle drop than Supergirl.
Look, to be fair, I don't think there will ever be a worse needle drop than that. So
poor movie. Well, we won't go on the tangent, but it just came in today. It's not even going to crack 200.
Yeah,
it breaks my heart. It really does, because it's not bad enough to be in the under Morbius territory, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm still waiting for you to read the comic, Ron.
Yeah, I'll get to it eventually now.
Ron's like, I don't care now.
I'm like, oh God,
you'll like it a lot more than the movie. Guaranteed.
I'm sure I will. Guaranteed. I'm definitely sure I will.
It's incredibly much better.
Okay, let's talk about, I think we'd be remiss if we did not discuss the inhibitor chips. I'm not talking about the Order 66 ones. I'm talking about the one Peter makes here, which is, the Department of Damage Control have access to, and I guess probably copy those schematics, right? Once Peter brings them in, because he makes a universal one. But one thing I like that they do about this is that Peter is so wrapped up in his mind about his problems, because he can't really think straight with what's going on with his mutation, right? So he is just like, I gotta get this fixed, and he's going to Bruce about it. He's creating it on his own and stuff. And there's a few people, Bruce and MJ in particular, that look at this stuff and say, you're dealing with some very heavy things here. And Peter's not really grasping that this could fall in the wrong hands and be used for the wrong purpose, because he's just focused on, let me stop having this overload of sensations all the time. So I like that
it will.
Yeah, I like that it comes from him, just like, he's not trying to do something wrong here. He's trying to help himself. And I think he's also thinking, maybe whoever would decide to use this would also just be like, I don't really want these powers, I'm going to take it. Not the reverse of, even though he does this for Jean, his thought is, let's get her powerless, put her away, or figure out what we need to do so I can at least fix that, and then we can potentially probably take it off of her, right? But it's a temporary solution for him. But this will obviously be set up with, Metzger is a X-Men villain, right? And we have the X-Men coming into here. This is something that continually is a plot line with the mutant Jean and stuff. So not the mutant Jean Grey, but just the mutant Jean. But but yeah, so what's your thoughts, Ron, on that as an X-Man stan here of seeing an inhibitor chip?
It was really cool. It was very, I think, a creative way to introduce that, to sort of play on the Hulk already needing one of those. It was just, I think it was a very cool sort of in-universe way to tie this over and to kind of make it something that is going to play a very, very big part, probably in the first X-Men movie, I'd imagine.
And Hulk obviously has one. We've seen it in other projects, but he won't get blamed as much because his is specifically for his gamma radiation.
Yeah.
Peter takes it and says, what if we did this for any type of mutation?
Yeah, period. Yeah. And the fact that they kept throwing the word mutation around was the tell, right? That these are going to be the mutant inhibitor collars. I'm going to guess it's going to the chips are going to be implanted in a much larger collar type setup there.
I've seen people point out that they've had collars in the MCU before, like Wanda has one on at some point. But I do think these are different because, one, Wanda, as far as we know so far, has not been classified as a mutant in the MCU. So it was more about powers. So I feel like the difference here is that this is specific for mutations. Like they make sure to say that, you know. I paid attention on the second time where they're like, this is for any sort of mutation or like DNA reaction to the gamma stuff is what Bruce's is. So like obviously now Bruce also does say it could affect anybody with any power, but I think that's more of a mutation thing than like I don't think you put this on Cap and he loses his super.
No,
right?
And that will be the distinction, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I mean, because you know we've had tons of superpowered people before, but we have had very little mutants in the MCU so far to really explore this type of story. So I do hope it does play a role in the first one, because we do have to have that moment, right, where they are. What's the difference between these heroes and the X-Men, and why are people anti-mutants, right? And that's what we're gonna have to have, and then that's what like the government or Metzger again will be like, hey, we're gonna
because Metzger's on the run, as we know now. Like supposedly damage control is like back on the up and up, and like this was not even a thing they were privy to, supposedly. Bullshit,
right? So,
obviously.
I mean, he's probably gonna. I mean, look, I would assume he's gonna get in some sort of politics, right?
Yeah,
at some level, because that's what people do now, and right, and he'll be able to run and be like, these mutants are making everything terrible, and he'll get votes, or you know, he'll be able to be a member on a board or something doing this kind of stuff to the various other political X-Men villains that you can insert.
I was just gonna say Trask is gonna be showing up, William Stryker, yeah,
plenty of options.
One of my favorite lines was when he says to Peter, Bruce says, how would you know what's the good ones and the bad ones are? What if something needs to be expressed? And I think that was, and when Ron, you said something about it that I think was adding to the relatability of this film. Peter was so wrapped up in his thing, and that's how like people are. Like when you are wrapped up in your problems, you can't see the outside of the problem, and that's the relatability of this film. And I think what they did with the inhibitor chip with Peter at the end, where he takes it off and he's like, I'm both. I think was really strong, and I just think the themes just kept pounding throughout each act of the film. They stapled it together and called it Bad Weather to steal a Jack Johnson line. But
okay, post-credit scene before we go to maybe some stuff that I have some other stuff I want to talk about too, but do we want to talk post-credit scene now and then
we'll get that
it makes sense.
Back to other stuff that's on our minds. I've heard people say as I was leaving the theater, this is the worst MCU post-credit scene, and I just
Hercules. Next question.
Big guy.
I don't even think it's Hercules. I don't even think it's Hercules. I'm trying to think about what it would be though, but it's maybe the Kangs cheering in the stadium at this point.
Yeah, that was going to be one.
Yeah,
it's the worst aged one, right? I mean,
Multiverse of Madness, at least they're on this little tease that goes nowhere.
That could come back though. I still think that one could come back. But with knowing Kang's out right now, like I don't think that one's
the Theron one was also really weird because the movie ends with him getting an eye forming on his forehead, and then the next scene he's just walking down the street fine. And Charlize Theron is just there looking all fucking sexy in a purple suit, being like, come on, we have to save the multiverse. Actually, a great post-credit scene, actually.
Anytime I see her, though, I just think of Rita from Arrested Development. Okay, so I think it's like some people are like, I could have just looked that up online afterward as they were sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know. I like, no matter how bad the post-credit scene is, I like sitting through it, and I like seeing what it is. to theorize on,
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, it's a slow one in the sense of how long it takes to get to the point, but it is the Spidey tracker, and we see our Peter Parker is still sighted salt. I don't know. He is seen right in, that's the word,
There you go.
in New York, and then it goes to space, and then we see a Spider-Man there. Now, obviously, this did not really happen. What I mean by that is I don't think there's somebody in space, like in the International Space Station, that has Spidey tracker on.
No.
It's like, there he is, and like does it. It's just for us to be like, oh,
Symbolic.
Spider-Man is in space, right?
Yes.
And I want to get your thoughts, because my thought immediately went to, this is an incursion possibly, and we're getting maybe Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man entering the frame. So there's now two.
Yeah.
Chris, why don't you go first? Because I have a specific thought on this too.
Well, I was almost wondering if this is how we get introduced to a live action Miles Morales, but Toby would be the most sensible.
I'll tell you, we're not getting Miles, because I think the rule is, and Feige's mentioned this, that they can't use him until the Spider-Verse movies are done.
God, I hate that. I hate that so much. We should just be able to celebrate the character in any form, but whatever. That's a whole nother.
The last one is next year.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I'm looking forward to it.
And Chris, you do have a point there, because that was where my mind went first, because the way the screen glitches reminded me of Spider-Verse.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's a great thought. The place where my mind went was Reed's life raft. That was them escaping, getting off of Earth. Because as we know, in Secret Wars, Spider-Man is on that ship that gets out of main 616 Earth with the some of the Fantastic Four. I don't want to be too spoilery for you guys, because I know you're probably going to read it. But Black Panther's on there. I think Star-Lord's on there. Just Peter is on that ship that makes it out of 616. So
both Peters then. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, Miles.
Peter Quill.
Oh, Quill. Yes, Peter Quill. Yes. It was so funny. I saw the tweet the other day. If I had a nickel for every time a Peter in the MCU had a girlfriend forget about him, I'd have 2 nickels.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Something weird that had happened twice. You know the deal. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shit. Where was I going with that? Oh, I lost it. All right, let's go somewhere.
On the life raft, right? I mean, that's
okay. Yes. I do believe that there's a chance that what that was the symbolism of the Spidey tracker app picking up him leaving Earth. But I do think it's one of the 3 that we mentioned. That's for damn sure. I think, George, you're probably right. I think it's much more likely this is Toby coming back, probably after his universe gets destroyed. I feel like it would be a very an impactful way to maybe kick things off with these incursions without destroying one of the 3 universes that we're going to be really following throughout all of Doomsday. Yeah. If they wiped out Toby's universe in the first 10 minutes of this fucking movie, that'd be nuts. And then he's here as sort of the Banner, right, from Infinity War of hey guys, guess what? Although they have an idea, everything, they all have, for example, Captain America has an idea things are going on right now. Others will have.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the background of the, I didn't really realize this when I was doing my whole episode on it, but there, if you look at the background of the trailer when they're all, which you didn't see in the movies, I apologize.
Yeah.
But they have 3 worlds on the chalkboard in the New Avengers Tower with links between the 3 of them to make a pyramid. Mm-hmm. So they are at that point aware that the incursions are happening between those 3 worlds, which would probably be 828, 616, and then whatever designation they're going to give the X-Men.
Whatever they call the X-Men.
And then, so I think maybe if you do lose another world first, to show the audience,
Mhm.
because Patrick Stewart's looking at something in the sky, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, like that could be in the beginning, that could be in the middle. I have no clue where that is in the movie, but you would kind of set up with the audience that like this is the stakes, right?
Yeah.
Like this would happen to one of these, to pretty much maybe two of these worlds.
It would be really
You know.
cool if the other one was the First Class universe. They're never gonna fucking use. Honestly,
You can see like Jennifer Lawrence there, and they're like, get rid of
yeah. But honestly, they're never gonna use those characters again. Like, make it a thing, like for the people that know. Like,
But I think that might be too confusing, though, in the sense of the Fox continuity of those X-Men movies is awful.
Yeah.
It is awful. We have no clue what I mean, First Class takes place in the 60s. Apocalypse takes place in what, the 90s?
Yeah.
And
we got Days of Future Past that kind of
Fassbender and McAvoy look the same age across 3 decades.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to grow up to Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Right? Like it makes no sense. Like they're going to age very poorly in 10 years. But it's
the quality of Days of Future Past
for them. Yeah.
What they should have done is either recast in if they're going to set them 10 years apart each time, or do like 5-year gaps between. You know, you could have had
that
First Class, and then like the second one would be in like 65 or 70. You know, like 62 even. Like keep it closer and closer to the like do a whole 60s. You know, like that would have been cool. But I think that would confuse people because we had Logan being played by him and all that. Then you also have the X-Men Wolverine's Origins universe, which has a different Deadpool. I mean, they're all messed up. You know, like that universe is just.
They are going to pin the majority of the multiverse fuckery on that universe.
Oh yeah.
But the quality of Days of Futures Past makes me not care about all of that. Is the main thing I would say. Days of Futures Past, if all you got out of that was Days of Futures Past, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Imagine if they showed Evan Peters and somebody just was like, "Oh, Ralph Boner, there he is."
Oh god!
And then the incursion happens.
Yeah, come full circle. That shit. Loved WandaVision. Did not love that. Did not love Ralph Boner, unfortunately.
A couple more things I really enjoyed too is just we kind of talked maybe or alluded to it. I don't know. I know I did in the chat was the way that, and I don't think the other ones have done it wrong or anything. What I'm about to say here, but there is probably a version of this movie where they introduce Frank as like, and they show that Staten Island incident because, you know, that they just feel like they have to. And I already seen some people clamoring for that. And I'm like, no, the joke is we don't know what happened there. It's like,
that is.
It's like Obi-Wan and Anakin being like, that incident on Cato Nemodia does not count. You know, like we're not supposed to know what happened there because it's just,
People can't do it
how
anymore.
it is living in the MCU. These characters have interacted and intersected in New York. In the last 4 years, he has run into probably everybody. Because I know people also would probably be like with Hulk, like, oh, he never actually really interacted with the Hulk in the movies. But I'm like, I mean, at any point in between films, he could have, right? Yeah. I mean, it could have happened between, you know, post Endgame when it's Smart Hulk or whatever, you know, who knows? But the way that Frank and DeWolf, you know, even having DeWolf already know who he is. I don't need an intro. I don't need anything like that. It's just he's working with this cop and they have a rapport, almost like a Gordon Batman situation, right? And we don't need that explained. I feel like it's just we're dropped into it. I was telling this to somebody before too, like, if this was not like, let's say this was just a rebooted Spider-Man and you just kind of cut out the references to No Way Home, This would be kind of what I would want without redoing the origin. Just drop us in.
Yeah.
To this guy being
Superman
Spider-Man, and he's already doing stuff. And that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like Superman, you know, dropped us in like that, and he already knew Green Lantern, he already knew Hawkgirl and stuff. And I felt like that worked perfect. I think it worked really well here too, without, you know, needing to, you know, because then you see those charts where people are like, to fully understand Brand New Day, you need to watch Punisher season 1, Punisher season 2. I'm like, you do not need to see any of that.
Not even a little bit.
I haven't watched the Punisher series.
Honestly, you'd actually probably be worse off watching the Punisher, is like, especially because the tone shift, like just a special presentation. It's a completely different presentation of Frank Castle. Like,
I still haven't watched One Last Kill.
And you know what? I almost turned it off in the first 5 minutes because there was a violent scene with a dog. I just was like, why did you have to do that? It just, but you're almost better off not watching some of these things. Is my point.
It's in the case of Frank, it's interesting, and I like that they didn't try to make him that same Punisher in this movie. And I've seen a lot of people on the flip side of that pissed that they didn't, and that he was too hokey in this movie. I liken that to the fact that the guy can't be miserable forever, right? Like he's got to have a little bit of happiness in his life, but also that's kind of like the Spider-Man effect, right? Like he kind of rubs off on you a little bit, and you maybe become a little bit more of a goof, a little quippier when you're in his presence.
But he was so cantankerous.
Yeah,
but it's still
the line really well.
And they still had the reference to his family, right? I mean, like all that stuff still worked. It's not just even like the fact that he's with Spider-Man, but like you said, Ron, he can't be miserable all the time. We do have to have character growth. This cannot be this stagnant universe, because then people are upset about that. Like you have to be able to let some of these characters grow and become different things. And like the next movie is going to have a tough task, because this is what everybody wanted, Peter being miserable, all this kind of stuff. This movie sets up that he's not going to be that next time, and there will be people that'll be like, oh, they went down the wrong path, because they have this version of Peter in their mind that they cannot. And he's kind of going back to the adaptation thing again, but it's
always got to be raining for some.
But you know what? Raindrops keep falling on his head. Yeah, but you know, it's what you said about the Spider-Man effect. What I also liken it to, Ron, is just like, this is how he would be in a Spider-Man comic. Like if I opened up a Spider-Man issue and Punisher showed up, he's going to be different than the rated R comic books that Punisher shows up in, because you can't do that, right? Like you can't do. It's the same thing of like when you have Batman in a Justice League comic is different than Batman in a Batman comic. You know, and specifically like then there's varying different tones of the Batman comics, like Arkham Asylum or, you know, Killing Joke and all that kind of stuff. While you also have the other Batman comics where he has got the penny in the, you know, cave like, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's goofier, more kind of grandiose stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought Frank fit very well in here. I didn't see like any, after just seeing him in Daredevil Born Again season 1 and rewatching Daredevil and all that kind of stuff, like it's still John Bernthal playing the same character. It's just that he's got this rapport with Spider-Man that he doesn't have with other people, because Spider-Man's a kid and he knows, it's almost like he sees maybe his kids in Spidey, you know what I'm saying? Where he's like, you know, just get out of my way, kid. Like you're not part of this, you know.
He's like the son he doesn't have, or like the little brother, right? Yeah, for sure.
That scene where Zendaya is like, you're gonna, he might need you to go with him. Like you're just gonna let him.
And he goes.
And then she makes a Staten Island joke too, which shows how witty she is.
Yeah.
He needs you just like you needed him on Staten Island.
Yeah, it's great. By the way, if you want character growth, do not watch The One Last Kill, because that is not character growth. That is, we're going back into this thing.
Yeah.
I also, the Staten Island thing. I wanted to say it before, but then we kind of took a left turn. the ambiguity is the funny part of the joke.
Yes.
That you get to, in your mind, think of like, what the hell went down? And like you hear them a little bit like kind of going back and forth about it, right? Like, oh, the drug dealer didn't go, what would you do? Like, but it's
right.
It's so like what? Then it's like by the time they're done, it's like, okay, all right. Like whatever. And the comedy worked so good with them bickering on the
security cam.
cameras.
Oh, I love that part.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Even him wearing the mask at the end, dude. Like,
yeah,
making
he's just grunting too. He's like,
Yeah. I was like, is that how he thinks Spider-Man sounds? Like, I was like, but like, one of the things I liked is Peter's like, you come on, Frank, you don't have the stuff I need, and like, he's like, I got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bob's bingo. Yeah. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Ezra in this? We got Ezra showing up.
I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really funny that in the credits he's just boyfriend. Like I don't. Do we think that's because they just wanted to keep it like really vague and like he's going to be in one scene? Who gives a shit? Or do you think there's a like small chance they might actually use him again?
I don't think we'll see him again, but I do think. I read a rumor, I don't know how true it was, that he was going to be revealed to be the tarantula.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think it looks like the same guy, though, if you look at the tarantula. So I don't know how true that is, but there's, I guess, speculation that either it was at one time that, or people were just guessing that. I don't know, but he's just an obstacle. I think that's why they didn't give him a name. He's an obstacle for Peter of like, oh, not only does she not remember me, she has a boyfriend right now, you know? And then again, it's almost like this she emotionally cheats on her boyfriend here with Peter when she's like, oh, he calls me withholding. And, you know, you get that back and forth. Where like, you're not supposed to complain about your spouse or significant other to like another
some random
person
guy
you're interested in, you know?
Yeah.
But it's ironic that he's just boyfriend because that's very withholding.
They withheld his name from us. Yeah.
So
I don't think he'll be. I don't think he shows up in Spider-Man 5 or anything.
Okay.
I think at this point she's going to take some time to kind of clear her head. You know, and then with him hanging out with Ned and possibly at their place, that love is just going to happen again. Like she had that when they're doing that whole scene about the withholding, it was so classic MJ and Peter. From like Homecoming and Far From Home that like it feels like it's just that chemistry is there no matter if she remembers them or not, and it's gonna happen. Like even if she doesn't ever remember anything, she now knows the truth, and just hanging around with him, she's gonna naturally fall back in love with him again.
I agree with that.
Go ahead, Chris. Okay.
I disagree with that. Like I think.
Do we think that they're gonna sort of pull the reversal for 5? And obviously MJ had the boyfriend in this one, Peter's single and like depressed. Is this where we finally get Felicia maybe? And it's like now MJ's single and Peter's the one with the girl, and like maybe that's what kind of, I don't know if they'd want to do that where it's just like, oh, now that he has a girlfriend, I want him. Like that would be maybe a little like
I think you can make it work in the sense of like, you know, maybe she is starting to remember, or she's just like been hanging out with them that like she's starting to develop feelings, and then he gets Felicia as a girlfriend. And she's like, damn, I was just about to tell him that like I'm down for this, you know. I don't know. But I think realistically, I don't know how realistic it is for us to get Felicia at this point, because I think they're just so invested in this relationship that like if Ned does remember at the end here, like they're just gonna run up to MJ, and then like if she starts to remember or whatever, like bam, they're back at it, right? Like
I don't know. Which I would be very pissed about, by the way, because I feel like we've made it would feel like backsliding. I don't know. It's just like I much more like the idea of like those three having to rebuild and like knowing of like, oh, we don't have these memories, but like we can make new ones. And like, what is that as opposed to just, oh, spell's broken and everything that we've gone through these last
I think they would.
movies.
I think they would do it better than what I just said. I'll say that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I do
yeah.
think they may. I do think they'll reclaim their memories at some point. But and then at that point, it's like, what would stop them from giving it a try, right? So of continuing their romance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know how much, like, the fact that these two are actually married in real life plays an effect on what type of love interest we get for Peter going forward too. You know, like obviously he's going to want Zendaya to be in these movies too because they have real chemistry and they're married, but also that's 2 paychecks instead of 1 for the family, right? I mean, like that double that up, right? So I think that, you know, that might be a little bit of a roadblock.
That is true. That is a logistical thing that I did not think of. That is probably the most important factor. Zendaya made $8 million on this movie, so
yeah,
that they don't want that going away. They don't want.
And it's not even like it's not even like Sony can be like, we don't want her in the next one because she's going to cost like $12 million. Because Tom will be like, then I'll walk.
Then I'm out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're really screwed here. And
I'll go play fucking Booster Gold on you guys. How about that?
She's also like one of the most popular people on the planet right now too. So like, it's working perfect for Sony at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Like Tom Holland and Zendaya, what a problem to have, guys.
Yeah.
They're
it's a good problem.
They're back-to-back movies with Odyssey and this too. Like they're making.
Can I just say this is the best back-to-back movie weeks I can remember, because I just saw the Odyssey, then I see Spider-Man. I'm just like, I don't think I've seen like 2 movies at such quality in a row, like 2 weeks. What a stretch! Like cinema is back, baby.
I'm waiting to see the Odyssey the way Nolan intended it, which is on my phone on an
airplane. He's gonna get paid after you. Tom Hardy's just gonna he's gonna get Liam Neeson to track you down.
Yeah, he probably wants me to actually watch on the IMAX 70 millimeter, which is sold out for however long.
I gave up. I gave up. I was like, I'm just gonna see it, and if like down the line I could see it in an IMAX, sure, but I'm not forcing it.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess anything that didn't work for you, is that a good time to start this part?
Yeah. I didn't really have any major gripes. The big one that I would probably mention that I tweeted about was no J. Jonah Jameson. It just it Spider-Man movies don't feel like Spider-Man movies to me at this point when you don't have his voice, which is funny because he hasn't, like, you know, he wasn't at Homecoming. He was only at the end of Far From Home, but it's just like, I don't know, just not having a Jonah in there at this point felt a little disappointing, especially because he was so heavily featured in No Way Home. It didn't break the movie for me by any means, just a small little thing I would have liked. God. Besides that, I'd be really scraping the bottom of the barrel to try to think of something.
I think while I do miss Jonah whenever he's not in something, I didn't really like feel like I missed him at all in this one. You know, like I think it was nice having I guess the only place I could see him kind of fitting in here, because this was a movie where Spidey was like so beloved, is during those clips where they're showing like during the montage of like, and Spider-Man Save the Day Again is like cutting over to that Daily Bugle, Daily Wire type news podcast he has, and him just still going off about like, and he did this and that, you know, like, kind of like, okay, you'll never win with him. Like that's the only thing
like
that
one of the
could really
fights
show.
Was like inside of the building, like inside of Jonah's studio. Yeah, something like that.
That's really the only thing I could see him in, because I think they wanted to maybe focus more on the lovers than the haters in this one.
I agree.
But Chris, anything that didn't work for you?
I mean, I guess I could have done without the scene where, hey, is that my shirt? And like he's wearing the like juicy
Oh,
pants.
I really like
Like
that scene.
Me too. I thought that
I
was funny.
I thought it was a little forced, but like at the same time, it's such a like I'm trying to come up with something. Like it's
yeah.
basically pitch perfect film. I do want to say before we go though that I think one of the strengths of this movie when we look back at it down the line is this is actually the send off for Marissa Tomei's May. I think to get the send off this way, to actually see the tombstone, to actually have the aftermath, to have her have impact long after she's gone, I think that was really important to this film. And the scene with Sadie taking Peter's place in that conversation really just choked me up. Like it just like I cried a little bit. Like not like I'm got to the point where I just cried everything. But like yeah, it was really good.
Before I go into what didn't work for me real quick, I just wanted to say, because I want to bring this up, they tie every single Spider-Man MCU movie into this one so seamlessly.
Yes.
With like that flashback taking place right at the end of Homecoming after she discovers that he's Spider-Man. Like it's the same bag on the floor from Tony, which gives him back the suit. And I just love that was a continuation. I wonder, did they de-age Tom Holland there? Because or does he just look that young still? I couldn't tell. And then
he's a pretty blessed person on that front.
Yeah, I was like, you don't need to because it's only like 10 years ago, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did touch it up a bit. And then MJ's holding the Black Dahlia necklace from Far From Home. That I guess, like, I wonder what the story is there. Is like Spider-Man gave it to her, or like how does she have this? Because it was Peter that gave it to her, right? Like, so is it now Spider-Man gave it to her, and now she's sitting there thinking about it, like, oh my god, like this is, she's wearing it, holding it, thinking about it. So thought that was cool. And then of course how well it tied into No Way Home we've talked about. So I really like that. It just feels like, all four, it doesn't feel like something's missing here. It's all four of them, tied together pretty well in this. Okay, the thing that I was gonna say it didn't work for me, I teased it in the chat. I wasn't big on the Yelena scene in the thing, and I thought that would be a hot take because not just because it's a sauna or whatever, but I feel like this is the meme I see online so far from this movie is the potato thing, a picture of her, right? A picture of her, and then like a picture of Peter's feet. Like I just keep seeing people post it everywhere, but I don't know. So far, both times I've seen it, I've just kind of been like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm not mad she's in it. I like Yelena, but I just feel like her office being a sauna instead of them just meeting somewhere else. I thought that whole thing was just weird. It didn't really click for me.
Yeah, just even if they like just meeting in the sauna would have been like funny. Like it just if it wasn't her office, like I don't know. Yeah, it felt a little weird.
Yeah, because she was just calling it that. Like how people call. Yeah, like whatever an office, but then she actually is working on her computer.
But then,
in there
then they
later,
like double down on it, and it's like, okay, no, it really is her office. It's like, but what about Avengers Tower? Like, I don't know. Yeah, it was. I chuckled. I didn't hate it too much, but I could see your point of maybe a little gratuitous.
I think it
really
felt
necessary.
I think it went a little too long for me.
Yeah,
the first one,
maybe.
The first scene of it. I was like, okay, yeah, and then it's just like kept going. Where like he's getting stripped and then going in, and then they're still talking. Like, I feel like that could have been sped up maybe a little bit.
And go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say I have a hard time complaining about Yelena. Like it's just like I'll take whatever Yelena I can get. So
it was also a little like convenient the way it happened. Like it was like, all right, we need to get Peter to damage control after this. So how do we do it? Yeah, okay. Yelena will just like know that it's not the type of mind control she was under.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Now, I didn't understand why she knew it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Because from what we know, she wasn't really looking into it before, so I don't know how she knew anything
and
about
that's
it.
what I'm saying. It was just they needed something quick and convenient for the plot, and it.
Yeah, who else? I guess that's why they picked her. I was trying to figure out like why would he go to Yelena, like, and not like Sam or Sam, who probably has like actual government contacts
or
as
Dr.
a real
Strange again,
as Captain America, right? Like, Sam would actually have real contacts. I feel like then like. Obviously she's working for Val or they're working for her, right, as the new Avengers. But it's like, I don't know. I was kind of wondering why. I don't think we've ever seen them interact. I feel like a Bucky or a Sam would have been like who Peter would trust to go to. I feel like in that type of thing. But that's kind of my only real complaint about the movie.
The real answer is that they
wanted Florence Pugh.
They wanted Florence Pugh in the movie. Yeah, but I will say it at least did feel natural and make sense in that way of like she is the most that's besides Bucky the most that's been mind controlled of the heroes that would be
I guess that's why
really accessible to Peter.
And thematically, she's the character that makes the most sense. Because she's the character that would understand what Peter and Jean are going through in this movie the most. This like if you like tie the stories together, like just have the backdrop of her story in your head, it thematically makes more sense for her for this film.
In Jean's case, more so.
In Jean's case, yes.
Yeah.
With the kidnapping and all that stuff.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Anything else about the movie before we wrap it up?
Just quick flowers to Trammell Tillman. He did just Trammell Tillman. He just amazing job. I fictionally hate the shit out of him right now for obvious reasons. But just the way he played literally two different characters in this movie. The guy that Peter meets in that office that he's joking around with. And the guy in that last scene are not the same people at all. And he did an awesome job.
Very true. The Sarah lie was really well done.
Yeah. And the fact that how he figured that out was by, apologizing to MJ for the kiss and her letting it slip that she doesn't remember anything. I thought that
Which I'm actually really glad they did that because now there's no awkward, there could have been sexual, like
there's no Wonder Woman 84 to it.
Yes. I'm still not over the Wonder Woman 84 if anything, but
no, I think Trammell, that's the third Severance actor in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, we got Adam Scott in Name Redacted. There's who's the other one?
Well, where was Adam Scott? Which one are you talking about there?
Name Redacted, Madam Web.
Oh no, I meant in the MCU Spider-Man movies. So
Zach
Cherry does the do a flip.
Yeah.
And then the guy that plays the Tinkerer is Rickon in Severance. So and I just realized it on this watch because he wasn't like a big known name back then. So I was like, oh my god, like and then Trammell Tillman. So I'm as a Severance stan, I feel very excited when I see these actors pop up and stuff. So
thank you for reminding me of the trauma of Madam Web.
Adam Scott as Uncle Ben Parker. How the fuck could you forget that one, man?
Oh man, I forgot it because I still haven't seen that movie.
We have to talk about something else. That can't be how we end the show.
That's how we end the episode. All right, give us a follow.
You must contact us.
So I will say, while we're on disappointing Marvel news, I was disappointed that Wonder Man season 2 got scrapped.
So we're just ending on a depressing note of this movie. That's what we're doing.
Well, I guess. I was like,
no, I'm disappointed too because I really like Wonder Man, but I think this doesn't bode well for Daredevil. I think we're exiting the live action series. they're just
that
too
way.
expensive.
Yeah.
I think they're just too expensive. Especially if you're talking about Wonder Man, which is filming in LA and Hollywood. I feel like maybe Disney had second thoughts of it and said, this doesn't make sense. We can't do this. But it's such a shame because I really liked Wonder Man.
I did too.
But hey, let's end on a little bit of an uplifting note. We got Doomsday coming up at the end of the year. We have so the MCU has been building and building, getting better critical reception again, getting better box office again as we head into Doomsday. The Doomsday tickets, I just saw an update here where they're selling still very well, boosted by Spider-Man. So Doomsday is going to be pretty big. I don't know if it'll break Spider-Man's record, but it'll be in good hands, going into it.
Look, Marvel is back. It's Marvel is back. Like, I think this is our proof that superhero fatigue isn't really the thing. We just need these things to be events again. And Spider-Man will always be an event. And especially Tom Holland Spider-Man. It's always going to be an event. So, yeah. Marvel's back, baby. The MCU's back. It's a good time to be a Marvel fan. So, there you go.
It's funny, ironically enough, I think Spider-Man doing so well is what might end up causing Doomsday to beat it. Like, because it has reinvigorated so many people to the genre, it could sort of, that ball could keep rolling into Doomsday, and that could end up being what puts it over. At least Kevin Feige would hope so.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, right? I mean, the reason I would say I lean against it is because usually Decembers don't break records like that. They usually have like more of a, instead of an opening weekend that's big, they usually just have really sustained success throughout the whole holiday corridor there. So,
and there is
but
Doom.
You never know.
I mean, Doom's there too, so that's going to be tough. It's going to eat into it at least a little bit, even if it's not substantial. It could just be that could be the difference in whether or not it breaks that. It's
very comparable to Spider-Man having to deal with the Odyssey, though. It is
the difference, though, is I think that for the bad side of Dune here, for Dune's trouble here, is that it's opening the same day instead of having those first 2 weeks the way the Odyssey did.
Yeah.
Because while the Odyssey still did well for the third week, like if they opened with 50 million, it wouldn't have been as good. But like, it's we really don't know how it's going to go yet, right? Like, I do think Endgame will. I mean, Endgame definitely did. But I was going to say, I think Doomsday will beat Dune pretty handedly on the opening weekend, and then we also have Jumanji opening up around the same time. Like, there's going to be everybody likes opening movies now in that holiday corridor, and it's going to be a bloodbath. But even without IMAX, Doomsday is selling tickets like hotcakes, and I think that's a good sign because I mean, even that, I think like Endgame, I think it was only like 10% of the tickets were IMAX, so like they didn't lose a lot by not having IMAX in this, and Spider-Man broke the record without IMAX too, and it's gonna get added. Exactly. I mean, like it's incredible. So I think, Marvel's on the up right now. I think just not having a million shows and a million movies releasing all the time has given this event status again. Plus, with it being Spider-Man and a beloved Tom Holland, Zendaya. Oh, that's what I wanted to say too. Is one thing I feel like that has been missing, and why the demographics for this movie are better than other superhero movies, is because we do have that love story that gets Gen Z involved. It gets the women involved a bit more, where they say, I like Zendaya, I like their relationship with Tom Holland. Now they're also starring in a movie together that they fell in love on. They're back in the day, and you left it with them not being together, that people want to see them together. That's the kind of stuff these movies need again. We've kind of walked away from having love interest in these movies, but like when you look at how many people were invested with Cap and Peggy, Iron Man and Pepper, Superman and Lois, like it's just like these there's something there that draws people to it that I think is sometimes a missing ingredient in some of these films. So I think that's something that's working for their advantage as well.
Yeah. The human element in us, right?
Yeah.
We all want to see the happily ever after.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll get that with them. Just not too soon. Let's enjoy the journey.
All right. Also, I swear to God, if they change this suit in the next movie, I am disowning this franchise forever. Okay.
Oh, the suit is perfect. Yeah. They had to rip it up, though. So they had to rip it off.
He's got that sewing machine thing.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Let's hope.
But yeah, so I'm really excited for hopefully this being the mainstay suit. At least just little changes are fine. But watching this movie on the big screen, I just kept thinking to myself during that first viewing, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. Like, I can't believe this suit is real. Like, it just looks like I'm seeing Spider-Man, you know?
The best one by far. And we were TASM 2 suit stands big time, but I think this one blows that out of the water.
Oh, yeah, by a mile.
This is the best suit. It's not a discussion. It's pretty easy.
All right, I guess at Supes and Sabers on all of our social media to follow us there. Thank you all for watching or listening along, and we'll catch you next time when we discuss whatever we feel like it, I guess. Lanterns is coming up, D23 is coming up, X-Men 97's ending. We got a lot of stuff to talk about at some point, so just stick around with us and we'll be discussing all sorts of topics.